bought 3 pieces of scrap wood from Home Depot because they just fit in my car easier. So today what I want to start building is actually a bank with transition that goes across it. So it's kind of like a wall ride channel with the bank in the middle. It's gonna be super fun. So first thing I'm gonna do is cut up some forms, and then I'm gonna sort of show you the layout, and then we're gonna get to building. I kind of freestyled the height and the width, got it set up. Next thing I got to do is add some support so that when I start adding the filler and then eventually adding the concrete, that it doesn't fall apart like it did with the previous form. The nice part is that it's lined up with our quarter pipe. So the idea is you can hit that and then hit this, or vice versa. Now that we got this basic form made, it's time to get some filler and start like sort of getting this stuff nice and stiff, so then we can add our concrete so that we can get this bank to wall ride going. Super hyped on this one actually. I've been wanting to do a spot like this for a while. I'm excited. I just gotta trace this one. So it's already having a nice transition from our last quarter pipe. I'm just gonna use that, but it's gonna have a harsh edge with no deck. I asked for some menthol at Lowe's, and then the guy said to get this stuff. Yeah, just an alternative option, yeah. Got some rebar pieces. I think these were actually like $4 a pop. They're kind of expensive. All right, so before we start mixing all the concrete, I'm actually gonna grind down some of the ground and some of the wall so that our concrete sticks to it and everything adheres nice and solid the first time around so that we don't have to do any patchwork. It's cracked right here. It's cracked along the whole path. So eventually this bank is going to crack no matter what, because we see that we're setting up ourselves for a little bit of failure. Solid cuts in there. This thing's like pretty much ready to fill. Dry pack. The common theme that I've been running into when building this spot or working on the spot is running out of water, and that's exactly what happened when pouring this bank, essentially we ran out of water. We couldn't make all that slushy top layer that we really like to make, so that get that nice fine finish. It's still skatable right now, like as it is with this kind of texture, but I'm not gonna skate it. I'm gonna add some filler on all the other side as well, get our transition going, add some concrete. Not right now because I'm just checking up on the spot. It's the morning time. We poured this yesterday, so just wanted to make sure everything is good, cleaning up our spot. And the idea there with like keeping everything clean with our trash bags and the trash and stuff like that is just so it looks less like vulnerable for people to come and ruin it and attack it. It looks cleaner essentially, so it's like less likely to get messed with. Though you never know what humans are gonna do. Somebody pooped in a bucket, so you never know what's gonna happen. Overall though, I'm actually really hyped with how the bank came out. Sort of bowed out, like you see on the bottom, it's kind of wider and the top it gets a little more narrow, which is nice for landing. You get a little more landing zone. And the idea is going to be add transition on both sides. I'm super excited. I actually think this spot might be just as fun as this one. And the idea is that they can set up each other so you can bank back and forth. The nice part is we still have our rivets up here. So like when I do that top layer, I could still marry that into the wall and then same with down below. So that'll be really nice. As you can see, there's still some form right there. So I can use some of this edge of the form for that top layer. So it won't be full freestyle, but I'm debating whether I take that form off and pour that top layer, or if I keep it on and use that as a guide. Big shout out to Joe for helping me out with this bank, and shout out to everyone that's offered to help. I really appreciate it. It's so cool. Any donation is super appreciated. Joe also donated and came and helped. Anybody that wants to get involved in this project definitely can get involved. I'll leave all the information down below. Just showed up and there were some flowers over here, and then someone tagged, "Your game is over." And in the last episode I painted the area, kind of covered up some tags just so like I can avoid the city coming down here and destroying our spot. But I don't know if that's what that is coming from, like the graffiti artist. Maybe let me know if you're a graffiti artist or a tagger, like how do you mitigate this? Like we want to keep building here, but we don't want the city to come down here. Like let me know any advice you have. But I kind of want to build a curb or something next. I'm not really sure what the next obstacle is, but first thing is first, I need to get all the filler over here for this. We're gonna get our forms out. I'm gonna pick up some concrete and start troweling it all on there and get this spot skatable. Also, someone gave us a donation of some towels and a blanket. Super random. No, weird. You never know like what's going on. I thought about like possibly putting like a trail cam in here. They're kind of expensive. Maybe like a trail cam sponsor to sponsor the series so I can watch what happens. That would be kind of fun for the edit as well. It is 7 a.m. Hopefully I can build today. My goal today is get both of this wall ride, get this obstacle in this area complete and done. Essentially I just brought all the material that we're going to be building today down here, and then I prepped up the spot a little more. I got some more filler. I brought some dirt down to basically fill any of the cracks in between our filler, our rocks, kind of solidify it. You don't want to add too much dirt because it could weaken your structure overall. A little bit of dirt kind of helps just like sort of compact all of our rocks. So now that we're here nice and early, and the goal with that is to hopefully get this built before it's too sunny and hot and our concrete just cracks right away. So hopefully I get all the concrete in there, then I can kind of sprinkle water if it gets really, really, really hot. But that's the goal. Also, so I'm not working in like 90-degree weather. So I gotta finish chopping up some of the ground. And the reason that I've been grinding the ground and the walls out is so that the concrete bonds to the wall and the ground a lot better. If you don't do that, a lot of times you end up finding the concrete chipping off both sides. So let's grind it up a little bit, get to mixing, and then finish up this obstacle. So when it comes to the Quikrete, 60-pound bags cost more. You're paying more per unit, but they're easier to move. So in solo builds like this one today, sometimes it's worth it to eat a little more cost so that you're not carrying the 90-pound bags, which you do save money on. So get the 90-pound bags if you have a buddy helping you, because you save a little money, but you're gonna be breaking your back. So that's kind of like why I go back and forth in between the 60 and the 90. It really depends on if I have people help me at that time. Also, I got some mortar, which I always use, kind of mixing into my Quikrete. I try not to use too much of that because it does weaken it. I try to do it more in the last pass add a little more mortar so it just thins out that concrete a little bit. And then I got this fast set Allcrete. This is sort of like an optional type of thing for the top and bottom seams, similar to a cement tile. I actually never used it. I tried it the other day. I ended up drying way too quick when I was with Joe and some homies. And I think that's because I was just talking and I was sort of like eating up time too fast. So today when I use it, I'm definitely gonna try to work with it really quick so it doesn't dry too fast. Alright, because this stuff dries so fast, I'm not really going to be able to move the camera. I'll try to move, get some different angles, but it might be a little bit of a time-lapse sort of situation just because I don't want it to dry up and I want to get the crete onto the wall. stuff dries so quick. To be honest, I wasn't really planning to put it on the bank just now. It was drying too quick. I had to work with it. So I'm actually realizing we're kind of low on water. I keep running out of water during these builds. So I might just dry pack these, meaning I'm gonna get it in here. I'm not gonna finish it. I'm just gonna get all the concrete in there. So then we can do that skim coat just because we're running out of water. But as much as that dried too quick, I still think it is a nice top surface. Might have to hit the bottom and top seam after it dries. Alright, so not only am I super sweaty, but luckily the sun is just now coming out, so hopefully it's going to be an overcast day, which is going to work to our advantage because the sun ends up cracking our concrete. It cures it too fast, essentially, then it cracks. It's not as strong, so we want to slow cure. I went and picked up some more water because we need water. The reason being, I really want to finish this job today because the concrete is still wet. It's easier kind of adding in that extra layer when it is wet versus when it's dry like I did with the bank. So now that I got some more water, let's mix up some of that fine concrete, throw that layer on there, and then we just have to let it set. So after I troweled everything up, I left it to dry. I just got here. It is the next day. Everything's looking really good. It's pretty crazy how colorful it is. It looks like there's like acid in it. Maybe that's the lime that's in that top layer that we use, or some different like chemicals that's in that concrete. It's crazy how fast it dried up. Like I really had to work with it really fast. It was kind of hard to work with it, but at the same time, it was really nice to get that top smooth surface. So I do think that material is really good if you're like struggling to get that smooth surface. Sometimes I just use it. I just wanted to kind of experiment with it. I think you can get just as smooth of concrete with Quickcrete, but the nice part about it is you don't have to worry about it troweling it so much. This is a much easier way to get that smooth top surface. The other thing that I want to mention is the tags. In the last episode, I did have to cover up some tags. There's a gut-wrenching thing. It's like one vigilante covering another vigilante. A lot of you guys gave me some good feedback. So one thing that I was thinking about is actually making a big canvas down here, or basically drawing like a big white box, and that could be like a monthly thing that I'll write on, like monthly fresh canvas or something like that, to sort of like, you know, just create a relationship with the people. I did come down today and there's tons of tags already. So that kind of gives me some insight that a lot of these are actually happening on the weekend. Yesterday was a weekend day. So I came and there was like a bunch of tags this morning and there was none yesterday. So all those guys must have came yesterday. And again, I don't have a problem with tagging or artists or graffiti. I'm doing the exact same thing in a different form, different media, essentially. We're all just expressing our individuality. So I want to make that clear. I don't have a problem with tagging. The whole reason that I did it is it's just to avoid the city coming down here and doing it. In my mind, it's like the city's gonna do it eventually, so I'm trying to do it right before the city would do it. So when it gets really blasted everywhere is when I think, okay, maybe I should paint it now so that the city doesn't have to come down. That's kind of the idea, but I'm also understanding that's not always the best way to go about it. So I'm still trying to figure that out while we preserve the spot and still respect all the artists that are here. I'm gonna come back and give this a skate maybe tomorrow, maybe get 2 days to dry, because like I said, I've never used this surface, so I want to make sure it's nice and dry. And because it's so colorful right now, it makes me think that it's still curing. It's not in its full cure process. I think once it's done, it'll probably be more of a gray than this rusty color that it is right now. Something else that I noticed is that this stuff didn't crack, which is really nice because it did end up getting pretty sunny once I left yesterday. There was a little bit cracking here on the edge, just where it's thin, but for the most part, there was not much cracking. There's a little bit of scary kind of like softer areas on here, but we'll see how that cures. The other thing I wanted to mention is I actually added some on the side here, so all of our concrete was open and exposed from the bank pour, and I just didn't want any of that stuff getting loose or this crumbling. So what I did is just kind of hit the side of this and filled it up with that top layer as well, just to kind of like make sure that nothing is falling loose. And if your board hits it or anything like that, it just like keeps it from like getting, you know, loose and falling apart essentially. So today I've been extremely nervous because I haven't been able to check on the DIY spot up until right now. It was my wife's birthday, then my birthday. We had so many things going on, so I'm excited to check out the Wallride in the bank. It's here. I'm stoked. Every time I come back, I'm so happy that it's still here. I have DIY trauma. Any subscribers know what I'm talking about. So I'm excited to clean it all up. Everything worked out, looks really hard to skate in a really fun, awesome way. Lines us up for this spot. So now we got multiple obstacles going. We're gonna get some more obstacles going. So thanks to everyone that does the super thanks. And adds donation, all that goes to building material. Thanks to you for watching this far. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. But that's not it. We're gonna need a little skate session and then get building to some more obstacles.